why don't we, for the hell of it, I want to talk about this. I actually think it's interesting conversation about the Futurist story on 5 predictions being made in a book that's coming out. A Google futurist talks about this on Ray Kurzweil's prediction in his new book, The Singularity is Near. Okay. And here's what he talks about. We'll read it here together while I'm going through the notes. Let me pull this up here. I think this is it. Yep, this is it. Okay, so check this out. The dead will come back to life. What? He's predicting that in the future, the dead will come back to life. Rob, well, you're on I pulled up the story here. But dead will come back to life. Okay. He believes that AI will enable the resurrection of the dead, starting with simulations and progressing to physical forms. He has already created a digital replicant of his father using his father's writing and compositions. By the end of the 2020s, highly realistic, non-biological recreations of people will be possible. Eventually, these replicants may inhabit cybernetically augmented biological body grown from a DNA of the original person. He predicts that humans will transition into artificial bodies that surpass biological limitations by the 2040s, 20 years from now. 2, humans will become 1 million times more clever. The 5th epoch of intelligence will see humans merge with machines. Enhanced by AI, human intelligence will multiply millions of times by connecting directly to machines. In the 2030s, the upper ranges of our neocortices will connect to the cloud, extending. This is like the Neuralink stuff. Number 3, immortality begins in 2030. He predicts humans will achieve escape velocity for immortality by 2030. Advanced AI will lead to rapid clinical trials with new longevity treatments. Technologies like medical nanorobots made from diamondoid parts will onboard sensors will play a crucial role. 4, life will become cheaper and easier. Technology will drastically reduce the cost of living luxuriously by 2030. Robots and 3D printers will accelerate construction process. Interesting. Living standard will improve as these advancements make luxurious lifestyles more affordable. 5, entertainment, where we feel every thought. Human brains will be upgraded with nanotechnology, enabling immersive entertainment experiences. Harmless nanoscale electrodes will be inserted into the brain, enhancing mental processing. Freed from the physical constraints of the skull, minds will process information of substrates 1 million times faster than biological tissue, expanding intelligence exponentially. Okay, Tom, thoughts on the story?
Well, somewhere at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, someone is saying, crap, he's talking 10 years from now. Yeah. So basically, I think they wish they could kind of hook Biden up to some of the stuff today. But I think what he's done, Ray is a futurist, but he's a pragmatic futurist that lives in the realm of the possible in terms of invention, and he sees the invention path. And I think what he's describing for us is outlining, what I take away from this is, hey, folks, here is an outline of what is possible. What should we be doing about this? What should we be doing about this in terms of, our families, what we will permit our children to do and not do? This is coming into just a wide scope of the possible that I think we need to understand how we're going to manage this. You've got everything from, it's like, I've got real questions here. I'll just ask a practical question. Let's say, Pat, you and I own a large Vegas casino. How will we know if someone that's not coming in who can count cards faster than any human impossible? And because counting the card at the blackjack table increases the odds, and mathematicians have been banned from blackjack tables. How are you you're going to ban somebody, but not after they cleaned you out for $2.5 million in a single sitting? So I think there's a lot of things we need to look at, on how we're going to manage it. And when you think of the immortality side of, it just, to me, that just brings kind of moral dilemmas to me. But I think what Ray is talking about is what is the possible. And he is not a guy you would call the kook who's, describing things that aren't possible, aren't going to happen. I believe half of what he's discussed right now is on timelines already.
Let me ask you this. Let me ask all of you guys this. Do you think 10 years from now, podcast is going to be around? Like podcasting will be around 10 years from now?
I think so.
Do you think it'll be more
Absolutely.
competitive or less competitive?
More.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me ask you this. So reaction videos like this, thoughts, reaction to stories, first take, stuff like this. In 10 years, what percentage, right now there's only 1 or 2 cases of people that have used Neuralink. In 10 years, how many people you think will be on Neuralink?
On Neuralink in 10 years of the entire American population?
Yeah, out of 150 million adults, how many people will be on Neuralink? Ages 18 to 65 will be on Neuralink.
In 10 years, what? I don't think it's gonna be that bad. Like that it needed PBD, like paraplegics and stuff like that. I would
How
say
many people will take the chip to be able to make decisions faster, to have the ChatGPT 9 model in their brain that you can just access information like this, and you're talking like this. And he said on December 9th of 1943, here's what happened in Morning. And when you think about what 663 times 493 is, you get this number. What in 10 years?
In 10 years, I think 3 to 5% of the entire population.
Okay, so in 10 years, you're doing a podcast. Do you think you are as educated and researched to give your opinion on issues as somebody else that has a Neuralink chip in their brain to be able to access that information more?
No, but it won't be coming from Vincent Oshana. It won't be coming from me and my experience. Like, don't get me wrong, the information will be there. There'll be a walking, talking encyclopedia, but who is it coming from? Are they just going to be spitting out the fact?
I don't think the chip changes your biases. I think the chip just feeds you the information, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's say. So if the chip changes biases, then it's a different story. You're biased. So you're like, I have a different bias on this. But Tom, in 10 years, if others are doing podcasts and you're seeing people are crushing it with podcasts and they're able to access Neuralink technology, stuff like that, what would you be doing? What will be the differentiator then?
Well, I think you hit on something, because you've got the ability to get the facts, all the data. So you have this data flow where it's infinite data flow. But now the question is, is AI going to develop the analytical mind that's going to draw the parallels and make the point? Right? You can causation. I mean, they could talk this data and that data and talk about causation, smoking, cancer, conclusion. I think AI will work like that. I'm yet to see, where AI is going to take the human assessment. So you can get more data into the human mind, but now the human's going to make the assessment, right? It's going to draw the conclusions, not just like smoking, cancer, causation.
And PBD, do you guys remember? So just really fast, going back to Ray Kurzweil. Do you guys remember the Transcendent Man that I talked about, that documentary in 2009, where he came out? PBD, this guy loved his father like immensely. His father passed, and he had since been trying to come up with this nanotechnology. And what you did, this story just made me come back and remember, this guy wanted to basically recreate his father and bring his father back. So all these years later, now we're getting to the point, 2024, where that's it. And he remember, and this is the singularity is near. This is from a book from 2005, and this, in my opinion, PBD, this is when it comes to God's work. We are all God's creations, and when it's your time, you asked me, actually, Pat, yesterday you asked me randomly. You're like, Vinny, if you could live forever, would you do it? And automatically, what I say, nope. I don't even want to be young again. I am exactly where I'm supposed to be. God put us here. This is the cycle of life. But then on the flip side of this documentary, a lot of professional brains were like, no. What Ray Kurzweil is trying to do is make these robots and these machines 1,000,000 times faster thinking per second than you are. And he goes, the problem is going to be the art-to-let war. Artificial intelligence thinking too highly for themselves and becoming their own gods, and then them destroying us, and that's going to be the end of humanity. And he was like, no, that's not it. He's just trying to extend life and bring people like his father back. I think it's a slippery slope, and I don't think it ends well for us as human beings.
Rob, can you run a poll to see what percentage of people would want to live forever? What percentage of people would want to live forever? And by the way, I'm going to go back to that question because of what he's talking about with the futurist stuff that's coming. Tom, if in 10 years you're able to add a chip, CRX model, okay, V series, AMG package, okay,
Might
with
already
a
have it.
Ferrari engine to accelerate as much information as you're consuming, to have it automatically be in here where you can, like, think about if there's a chip that you put in here that every book in the history of mankind you've read, and it's already in your head. Every single book ever written in mankind you can pull from. Somebody says, do you know Dante? Yes. Which book? Blah, blah, blah. Okay, page 282. If that existed, would you want that chip here when you're doing podcasts and shows?
I think the answer to that's going to be yes. I mean, someone's going to want it. Someone's going to agree to do it. So I see this in important parallels, kind of like steroids in baseball. There were baseball players that were against steroids, but they said, I had to do it because the recovery for pitchers and the strength and pitch recognition that I got, because a little bit of eyesight was improved too, says I got to do it. So you have the players that said no, never on moral grounds. You had the players that went and did it. And other players even said he finally broke and decided to do it because everybody had to do it and he didn't want to get cut. Then they had the players that did it and had no moral. They were like, I'm just doing it. I'm just doing it. And so I think that's the same human logic that's going to go here. You're going to have the leads that do it. Then people say, I have to do it. And the people say, I don't want to do it. Now, having all that, so there's two issues here. Having access to all that information so you could do things and do them faster, that's one element. The immortality side is another. You know, it's like, I look at this and I'm like, do I want to go through another 40 presidential elections? No, I don't think I do. You know, that would be, you know, that's 160 years. It's like, I don't know. The immortality question is a much different question from the data assimilation and data access question.
Adam.
Sure. Well, thank God we're getting some news along the lines of the future looks bright, which, you know, we might have heard a few times here at Valuetainment, because every time we hear something about AI, it's always like AI is going to destroy humanity. Humanity's done. We've learned terms like Elon Musk is a humanist. He believes in the human race. It's like, well, yeah, thank God. No shit. Like, I think we all kind of do. But here's this guy, Ray Kurzner. By the way, you know, Vinny was kind of touching on this. This guy's no lightweight. This guy has been around for decades. He's been called the modern day Thomas Edison, one of the revolutionaries that made America. He's received honors from, I think, 3 different presidents. He's in the Inventors Hall of Fame. This guy's been doing this for 20 years and he has credibility, longer than 20 years. But I think in 2000, he won the National Medal for Technology. So for 25 plus years, he's been actually right. There he is right there. So, you know, we see a lot of guys that make predictions, doomsday predictions. Here's a guy that actually walks the walk and talks the talk and does it the right way. So what's he saying? That AI is going to bring the dead back to life. Neuralink is going to make people smarter. We're living longer. It's going to become cheaper to live. It's less expensive. Entertainment. You know, we've seen things like AI girlfriends show up out of nowhere. You know, 1/3 of men under 30 aren't dating anybody, haven't had sex in a year. They're relying on AI. I don't know. I think, to me,
Rob, cut that clip.
There needs to be a balance of the future and AI, but also let's not forget our humanity. Humanity is what separates us from the animals. Consciousness, having a heart, having empathy. So it's going to be interesting to see where we go in the future with all the advancement in technology and AI and virtual, and just humans wanted to have human emotions and live a real life.
Very emotional. Very emotional.
Yeah, that wasn't even me. That was just literally.
I don't know if you can see it.
That was it.
If you can see it
blowing
here,
right now.
I'm trying to like cover it up, but
I see it.
I really felt it.
You want me to come in my room, Pat? I have Kleenex.
No, I'll make it work. I'll figure out a way on how to take it back. So there's a movie coming out this summer. Everybody's looking forward to. It's the Ronald Reagan movie, played by Dennis Quaid. That movie comes out August 30th. But how would you like to do a private screening of the movie on August 2nd, 4 weeks before the movie comes out, and after you watch the movie, right afterwards, 30 minutes later, Dennis Quaid comes out and does a live podcast, and you're sitting there watching him, the podcast, right next to me. We'll have a conversation with him. Big Hollywood name actor, all these movies he's been in. It's going to be a very unique experience. So if you want to be a part of it, all you got to do is go to 5990live.com. There's 3 tiers of tickets. General tickets $100, Premier $250, VIP $500. The VIP people will not only be able to take a picture with Dennis afterwards, but you'll also go to the cigar lounge afterwards with me. I'll be there. A couple of our friends will be there. So if you want to be a part of it, click on the link above below or go to 5990 Live, get registered. We'll see you there on August 2nd, 5 p.m. in Fort Lauderdale.
So if you like this clip and you want to watch another one, click right here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click right here.